Table of Contents. Preface. Chapter 1. An Invisible World. 1.1. What our ancestors knew. 1.2. A Systematic Approach. 1.3. Types of Microorganisms. Chapter 2. How we see the invisible world. 2.1. The properties of light. 2.2. Peering into the invisible world. 2.3. Instruments of microscopy. 2.4. Staining microscopic specimens. Chapter 3. The cell. 3.1. Spontaneous generation. 3.2. Foundations of modern cell theory. 3.3. Unique characteristics of prokaryotic cells. 3.4. Unique characteristics of eukaryotic cells. Chapter 4. Prokaryotic diversity. 4.1. Prokaryote habitats, relationships, and microbiomes. 4.2. Proteobacteria. 4.3. Non-proteobacteria, gram-negative bacteria and phototrophic bacteria. 4.4. Gram-positive bacteria. 4.5. Deeply branching bacteria. 4.6. Archaea. Chapter 5. The eukaryotes of microbiology. 5.1. Unicellular eukaryotic parasites. 5.2. Parasitic helminths. 5.3. Fungi. 5.4. Algae. 5.5. Lichens. Chapter 6. Acellular pathogens. 6.1. Viruses. 6.2. The viral life cycle. 6.3. Isolation, culture, and identification of viruses. 6.4. Viroids, virusoids, and prions. Chapter 7. Microbial biochemistry. 7.1. Organic molecules. 7.2. Carbohydrates. 7.3. Lipids. 7.4. Proteins. 7.5. Using biochemistry to identify microorganisms. Chapter 8. Microbial metabolism. 8.1. Energy, matter, and enzymes. 8.2. Catabolism of carbohydrates. 8.3. Cellular respiration. 8.4. Fermentation. 8.5. Catabolism of lipids and proteins. 8.6. Photosynthesis. 8.7. Biogeochemical cycles. Chapter 9. Microbial growth. 9.1. How microbes grow. 9.2. Oxygen requirements for microbial growth. 9.3. The effects of pH on microbial growth. 9.4. Temperature and microbial growth. 9.5. Other environmental conditions that affect growth. 9.6. Media used for bacterial growth. Chapter 10. Biochemistry of the genome. 10.1. Using microbiology to discover the secrets of life. 10.2. Structure and function of DNA. 10.3. Structure and function of RNA. 10.4. Structure and function of cellular genomes. Chapter 11. Mechanisms of microbial genetics. 11.1. The functions of genetic material. 11.2. DNA replication. 11.3. RNA transcription. 11.4. Protein synthesis, translation. 11.5. Mutations. 11.6. How asexual prokaryotes achieve genetic diversity. 11.7. Gene regulation. Operon theory. Chapter 12. Modern applications of microbial genetics. 12.1. Microbes and the tools of genetic engineering. 12.2. Visualizing and characterizing DNA, RNA, and protein. 12.3. Whole genome methods and pharmaceutical applications of genetic engineering. 12.4. Gene therapy. Chapter 13. Control of microbial growth. 13.1. Controlling microbial growth. 13.2. Using physical methods to control microorganisms. 13.3. Using chemicals to control microorganisms. 13.4. Testing the effectiveness of antiseptics and disinfectants. Chapter 14. Antimicrobial drugs. 14.1. History of chemotherapy and antimicrobial discovery, 14.2. Fundamentals of antimicrobial chemotherapy, 14.3. Mechanisms of antibacterial drugs, 14.4. Mechanisms of other antimicrobial drugs, 14.5. Drug resistance, 14.6. Testing the effectiveness of antimicrobials, 14.7. Current strategies for antimicrobial discovery. Chapter 15. Microbial mechanisms of pathogenicity. 15.1. Characteristics of infectious disease, 15.2. How pathogens cause disease, 15.3. Virulence factors of bacterial and viral pathogens, 15.4. Virulence factors of eukaryotic pathogens. Chapter 16. Disease and epidemiology. 16.1. The language of epidemiologists, 16.2. Tracking infectious diseases, 16.3. Modes of disease transmission, 16.4. Global public health. Chapter 17. Innate nonspecific host defenses. 17.1. Physical defenses, 17.2. Chemical defenses, 17.3. Cellular defenses, 17.4. Pathogen recognition and phagocytosis, 17.5. Inflammation and fever. Chapter 18. Adaptive specific host defenses. 18.1. Overview of specific adaptive immunity, 18.2. Major histocompatibility complexes and antigen-presenting cells, 18.3. T lymphocytes and cellular immunity, 18.4. B lymphocytes and humoral immunity, 18.5. Vaccines. Chapter 19. Diseases of the immune system. 19.1. Hypersensitivities, 19.2. Autoimmune disorders, 19.3. Organ transplantation and rejection, 19.4. Immunodeficiency, 19.5. Cancer immunobiology and immunotherapy. Chapter 20. Laboratory analysis of the immune response. 20.1. Polyclonal and monoclonal antibody production, 20.2. Detecting antigen-antibody complexes, 20.3. Agglutination assays, 20.4. EIAs and ELISAs, 20.5. Fluorescent antibody techniques. Chapter 21. Skin and eye infections. 21.1. Anatomy and normal microbiota of the skin and eyes, 21.2. Bacterial infections of the skin and eyes, 21.3. Viral infections of the skin and eyes, 21.4. Mycosis of the skin, 21.5. Protozoan and helminthic infections of the skin and eyes. Chapter 22. Respiratory system infections. 22.1. Anatomy and normal microbiota of the respiratory tract, 22.2. Bacterial infections of the respiratory tract, 22.3. Viral infections of the respiratory tract, 22.4. Respiratory mycosis. Chapter 23. Urogenital system infections. 23.1. Anatomy and normal microbiota of the urogenital tract, 23.2. Bacterial infections of the urinary system, 23.3. Bacterial infections of the reproductive system, 23.4. Viral infections of the reproductive system, 23.5. Fungal infections of the reproductive system, 23.6. Protozoan infections of the urogenital system. Chapter 24. Digestive system infections. 24.1. Anatomy and normal microbiota of the digestive system, 24.2. Microbial diseases of the mouth and oral cavity, 24.3. Bacterial infections of the gastrointestinal tract, 24.4. Viral infections of the gastrointestinal tract, 24.5. Protozoan infections of the gastrointestinal tract, 24.6. Helminthic infections of the gastrointestinal tract. Chapter 25. Circulatory and lymphatic system infections. 25.1. Anatomy of the circulatory and lymphatic systems, 25.2. Bacterial infections of the circulatory and lymphatic systems, 25.3. Viral infections of the circulatory and lymphatic systems, 25.4. Parasitic infections of the circulatory and lymphatic systems. Chapter 26. Nervous system infections. 26.1. Anatomy of the nervous system, 26.2. Bacterial diseases of the nervous system, 26.3. Acellular diseases of the nervous system, 26.4. Fungal and parasitic diseases of the nervous system. Appendix A. Fundamentals of physics and chemistry important to microbiology. Appendix B. Mathematical basics. Appendix C. Metabolic pathways. Appendix D. Taxonomy of clinically relevant microorganisms. Appendix E. Glossary. Index.